Good morning, everybody. It is 8:31 AM EST, and this is the Cowboy, and we're here with Algo Factory's morning show, our live lab. And yeah, exciting times in crypto. We're at the kind of that key part of the bull market where things can take off unexpectedly quickly. I mean, things can really just take off before you're ready for them to take off. So we're going to take a look at that. We got Finding Durham. Good morning. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into the charts here. Give me a second to prepare the screen. And if you all have stuff you want to see, then go ahead and ask for it. If you have charts you want to see, or what have you, right? Okay. Got a lot of gobbledygook on the screen here, so let's do a little presentation. And there we go. All right. Looking at Ton's an interesting coin. I have some ideas about Ton. I know that Vita Gorilla loves it. This is basically Telegram's coin, although Telegram has been in the news lately with regard to the Russian opera house, but it doesn't seem as if anything was terribly affected by that. So, we had that attack over there, and the guys were saying, oh, they told us to do it through Telegram, and okay. Well, if that had any effect on the company, it's not showing in the price of Ton. So that would be an indication that Telegram should continue to steam along. Let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin here. Just so you know, as far as the economic data is concerned right now, there's not anything happening today. I think let me just jump to the calendar really quick. Later today at what is that, 6 EST, so kind of in the dead of the market, FOMC member Waller speaks. So that that might have some effect, but most of the time there's not a lot of trading happening. The market has just been closed. So actually, if anyone's in a day trade at that point, which I wouldn't even be in a day trade at that point, if the market's closed, the spreads are so thin when it comes to Forex markets, I just wouldn't be involved in a day trade. Crypto, obviously, I do have some higher time frame trades with that. That would be unaffected spot trades. Now, Thursday, tomorrow, we have GDP quarter over quarter coming out, and that actually is a significant number, right? So this is quarterly GDP. That means that it's 4 times a year, and this is an indication of how well the country is doing from a gross domestic product standpoint. So that may, if it is way out of whack, have a pretty big effect. And then at what is that, 10 that's 8:30 EST. And then 10, that's like an hour before the market open, along with the weekly unemployment claims number. Any of these metrics, that if they're too far away from the expected number, then they can have a significant impact on the market. And then, of course, 10 AM EST, we have some more data coming out, home sales, consumer sentiment from University of Michigan. So tomorrow is a day full of landmines. If I were day trading, I would probably hold off until that data was out, or I would be really doing some low time frame, quick, scalps in between that data. But I wouldn't be on any kind of day trade before those data come out, right? The market right now is pretty quiet when it comes to volatility. That's the Forex market. Crypto is its own beast right now. Of course, we have Bitcoin on the screen, and this is a 3-hour chart. I'm going to back out real quick and take a look at a higher time frame so we can assess what might be happening with Bitcoin. And the computer is taking its time. There we go. Definitely bullish on the algos, bullish against resistance, but at this point in the market, I'm not too worried about the resistance, right? It's, pretty much in the bull. We had the all-time high. This was back in halfway through March, and then price hung out there, retraced it down about 17% to grab some liquidity down here. And the pre-having pullbacks have, at least to my metrics, been roughly 20 to 30%. And so this one got down to 17. We can tell by looking right here. So the pullback so far, the deep about 18%, like 17.8, 17.7, whatever it is. So that's pretty close to that 20%. And right now, to look at price, I'd say that, it's pretty bullish. It's popped out of this consolidation. It dipped back down where all this liquidity was. Looks like it may have gotten whatever liquidity it needs because it's back above that now. And essentially, this could be looked at. Let me see here. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing this top area as sort of a range, but I will drop down to a lower time frame to assess this. And this is just a review, really, of what we looked at a few days ago. But price is essentially kind of bouncing around up in this kind of area right here, right? So I wouldn't Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see price bounce a little bit in this area. In fact, it's kind of creating its own little consolidation right now. Matter of fact, so you could look at this mini range, if you will, that it is clearly creating. And what we look at a lot of times is we look for a range and then a breakout. And then the higher time frame metrics give us an idea of what that breakout might look like, what direction that might take. And let me take off these Fibonacci here. Ooh, let me redo that. Okay. So there's a couple ways to look at this. Now, looks like a pretty, looks like a bull flag. Crypto's funky. It will fake bull flags, right? It'll fake a formation. So most of the time, a bull flag is going to break upward from the current move. I'd say the purest version of this move would be just this quick extension here, and that would put targets just above the all-time high. So I would expect this breakout to at least approach the all-time high if it breaks to the upside. Now, if this is a fake out breakout, Bitcoin could break back down into this consolidation. But just with the bullishness of the market right now, even if that happened, I would expect it to break down and then bounce back up. That is what I would expect. So as of now, we're in a consolidation. And the way I would play this is that I would look for price to break out of that. And I would look for it to, it would be a point of interest. If price broke out of this, we do have a metric that we use in Algo Factory. It's an indicator. It's one of the items on the screen that you see here. We won't say which. Because Algo Factory knows which one it is. If anybody is watching from Algo Factory and you forgot, just let me know. We start the private live lab in about 20 minutes, and I can go ahead and tell you what that is if you've forgotten. But once this consolidation breaks and that indicator pings, then we would be looking at our breakout. Now, it might be to the downside, might be to the upside, but as soon as price breaks the top or the bottom of this, and that indicator tells us what we're looking for, then we have a good idea of which direction price might go, right? It's just the way we do things. But yeah, so if I had to just simply guess what would happen next, I would say Bitcoin to the upside, retest that all-time high, right? That's what I would guess. And then, of course, what I say pretty often here is that I have targets at about 80,000 and 88,000. Those are my targets to the upside. And I'm talking about the breakout. Now, we do, of course, have that halving. And a lot of people think that the pullback before the halving is not done. And they may be right, they may be wrong. But I think the halving's coming up in like 2-3 weeks. Yeah, let's look. Let's take a look. So the Bitcoin halving, for those who might be new, this is when the Bitcoin rewards, the mining rewards, are cut in half. So April 19th is our estimated date. April 19th. Now, this is all based on blocks. There's no date for this, right? It's just if enough Bitcoin blocks are mined, then when that last block is mined, the halving happens. And we have it approximately here. Now, like I said before, usually there is a pullback before the halving, 20 to 30%, and we have seen almost 20% already. So price simply could just continue up, especially right now. The way that the market is, Grayscale is selling a lot of Bitcoin, and in fact, technically, Grayscale is selling Bitcoin quicker than the market can absorb it. However, I think that that's gonna. I mean, they've sold like half their holdings since the ETFs have come out, so I think there's a good chance that they're gonna run out of Bitcoin. In fact, I think I read in an article yesterday that Grayscale is going to run out of Bitcoin to sell within like it could be as soon as like a couple months. Did it say 6 weeks or 16 weeks? Whatever it is, that's not very long. You know, now when that happens, that is a massive supply of Bitcoin. I think they had 600,000 Bitcoin, and now they're down to like 300,000. If I'm not mistaken, if memory serves right, and that's within a matter of weeks that they've done that. And the reason that Grayscale is selling is because people are redeeming their Bitcoin, right? They can take their money and get better returns elsewhere, even in the crypto market. So they're selling out of Grayscale to take advantage of what was a premium, right? They're trying to maximize their profit, minimize their loss, minimize their what's called opportunity cost. So with that being the case, there is some downward pressure. Honestly, like this was probably supposed to happen anyway. I'm not really a big believer in, oh, well, this was happening because of this company. No, not necessarily. However, when things are supposed to move, companies will take advantage of that. So it's all kind of it's interlinked. I'm not sure one causes the other. I think it all just kind of happens. You know, price points, whatever, the magic of the market. But right now, again, we're looking at a time when we could see price simply head back up. We're in a very bullish time, and as I have been saying lately, is that people who were looking for a certain entry probably won't get it. A lot of these people who thought Bitcoin would head down to like grab liquidity around this 50,000 mark, they might have been waiting for that and never saw it, right? A lot of people wanted to see price go to the March lows, and they were waiting for that, which I'll draw a line. That's where this wick came down in March, right? A lot of people were looking for the March lows, and that got front ran, right? March lows were at 59,000, and as close as we got to that, let me bust out my fat arrow here. So here's the March low, and then here's as low as it got. So anybody who tried to get in on those March lows, they got front ran, and price didn't even make it below 60,000, and they wanted it to go down to 59,000. So the bullish market is tricky because people's entries get front ran. People waiting for that low amount, they often get disappointed. So for the moment, we'll see what happens with the consolidation. Eyes are on that. Let's move over and take a look at Ethereum. Okay. So we got 20 people watching. That's awesome. Thanks for being on, everybody. Please like, subscribe, do all that stuff. If you're watching on X, please follow. Also, if you have any questions, if you have charts you want to see, even if it's not crypto, even if it's stocks or whatever it is, I do price prediction, chart analysis. It's what I do. So, looking at Ethereum, it does seem to be underperforming Bitcoin, right? At least just for the last several days. Bitcoin has a consolidation that is a sideways consolidation where you can see how Ethereum kind of has a downward aiming consolidation, right? It's still considered possibly a bull flag, but people are selling Bitcoin faster than they're selling. I'm sorry, people are selling Ethereum faster than they're selling Bitcoin, and this is reflected right here. I could also do a different chart where it's, Ethereum against Bitcoin. We got March. Good morning, March. We're talking about your baby. Let's see here. I know Ethereum has had a little bit of FUD around it, so there might be some people selling, but it doesn't seem like it's really affecting that much. You got the SEC supposedly talking about Ethereum being a security. But at the same time, like I said, I mean, price continues to rise going back to kind of, what is that, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So the FUD doesn't seem to really be affecting the price right now. Just by looking at the algos, this crazy screen that you're looking at right now, I think it's just at a time when Ethereum is at a resistance, just as simple as that, right? Um, this area right here, you can see that there actually is a prior established range, and price is in that, and price will need to break out of that before we see probably anything happen. And this is going back to here. You can see, well, not so, maybe it's kind of back to here, but definitely back to here. We can see that on the way down, Ethereum created a little bit of a range right there, and then popped back into it. And price is just hanging above the midpoint of that range. And so for the moment, again, we have a bit of a consolidation on the higher time frame, but mostly I'm looking at this lower time frame consolidation, just like I am with Bitcoin, to see which way it breaks out. And given where the resistance is in the algos and where the market is, it's a little unpredictable. I got to be honest with you. It wouldn't surprise me to see price actually jump out to the downside just to grab a little liquidity before it heads up, right? And Ethereum would head up, in my opinion, if Bitcoin headed up. But I would be looking at this kind of area right here to grab liquidity from this prior order block right here. It would be attracted, I think, to this order block to grab that liquidity. So, in fact, with Ethereum, I'm going to roll over to the Kingfisher and see if we can grab some live metrics on liquidity, right? So let's see if we get a little bit of luck here. No luck, no soup for you. Let's see here. Okay, Ethereum. Yeah, so there you have it. The strongest spike is at 3,500, a little bit like in the kind of the mid 35s, but I'd say like 35 to 35.50, right? So that's actually just the bottom of this area. It's not even down here. Let's take a look back here. There's a little bit down. There's not a whole lot of liquidity. I mean, there is some, and most people are long. I mean, if you were to look at this liquidity, I would say everybody's net long, but I don't see a lot of liquidity down in this. What is this? 34 to 33. I mean, it's there. There is some. Yeah, so right here to here, yeah, there's not a lot going on there. There's not a lot of incentive for price to actually break down that far. So, I don't know. I mean, look, just because it's not on that chart doesn't mean it's not there, right? This chart looks at the exchanges to see where liquidations are, right? So, it doesn't mean that there are not people down here willing and ready to buy based on prior price action. So, again, this what I just drew is a little more likely for me, but it's still pretty likely that it'll just break to the upside. Excuse me. And I'll draw what that looks like. And I can tell you what'll fuel that will be Bitcoin breaking to the upside. If Bitcoin breaks to the upside, I think, whenever it does, you'll see a break to the upside. Either it's going to look like this or it might bounce around and break out. I mean, any kind of iteration of that, right? So, yeah, unless Bitcoin does that, though, Ethereum could again break to the downside to grab liquidity. So this is very much like the entire market is very much Bitcoin dependent, the entire crypto market. So, all right, 10 minutes left. Just trying to see if anybody has any questions. Any questions? Do you have any charts that you want to see? Yeah? Do you have any questions to ask? Hola, Jam Man. Thanks for coming on. Just a reminder, like, subscribe, follow, all that stuff if you're watching. Like, subscribe YouTube, follow on X. Well, let's see. Ethereum, Bitcoin. I'll save Solana for the private group because I know fine, LTC, who cares about Litecoin? I'll look at it though. But Litecoin is like, I mean, you can make money trading it. So I'm not saying you can't make money with it, but Litecoin to me is just outmoded. See, this is daily. Yeah, see, look how not eventful Litecoin is. One thing you can do with Litecoin is make some range trading decisions, but the Litecoin's not very liquid. The wicks are just brutal on Litecoin. So I wouldn't even be messing with it. Look at this. Let me show you something. Okay. So Ethereum in terms of Bitcoin, right? So Ethereum is like not doing that well against Bitcoin for the most part. Going back to say August of 2022, it's been better to hold Bitcoin than Ethereum, right? Like just Bitcoin's just going faster. Well, look what happens when we compare Litecoin to Bitcoin and we overlay this. So you can see Litecoin's shrinking faster, right? Let me do the same percent scale. This is actually not a proper comparison. I'm going to do same percent scale. Okay, even worse. So Litecoin is sinking even faster than Ethereum, right? So Ethereum is not doing that great. It's been relatively stable to hold since November of 2023. So it's kind of growing more or less at the same rate as Bitcoin. I mean, it's right now pretty not good. It's at the bottom of a range that's been created. Again, this is Ethereum, but to look at Litecoin is just shit in the bed, man. This does not look good. Anybody holding Litecoin has been losing money since what 2021. Really, I mean, I could go back farther. I see no reason to hold Litecoin. Of course, there's all these weird theories, all the UN this and all that, but I think those are silly, personally. Let me look at this on a higher time frame. Let's go to the weekly, just so we can demonstrate why, to me, Litecoin's not interesting. So Ethereum, again, going back to 2021, just not pacing with Bitcoin very well. But to do Litecoin versus Bitcoin, I mean, this is dismal. This is just dismal. Going back to 2018, anybody holding Litecoin has been losing money compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has lost. Let me see. Going back to here. Okay, so this is the 0 point. So looking from 2019, Litecoin has lost 80% of its value against Bitcoin, according to this chart. Well, Ethereum has grown mostly, although Ethereum's been having a hard time since 2021. So, I mean, Litecoin, I see no reason to even hold it. It's better to hold Ethereum, and it's even better to hold Bitcoin than Litecoin. So, I mean, I'm just going to let you know, Litecoin, no bueno, right? It doesn't matter if it's fast and cheap. It doesn't matter. There's faster and cheaper ways. I'll knock Litecoin all day long. It's trash. Dude, holding Litecoin, there are faster and cheaper cryptos that gain value than Litecoin, right? So Litecoin might be faster and cheaper than Bitcoin, but holding Bitcoin's gaining value, right? Holding Litecoin, you're just losing money. Doesn't matter if it's fast or cheap. I don't care about fast or cheap. If I want fast and cheap and I want to use Litecoin, then on an exchange, I will flip to Litecoin. I will exit, and then wherever I go next, I will get rid of the Litecoin because it's losing value. And if I want fast or cheap, I'll use Ripple. I'll use Solana. There's a million cryptos out there that are faster and cheaper than Litecoin. So yeah, I'll knock Litecoin all day. I'll knock it like it's a freaking bad piston. So yeah, Litecoin's trash. TRASH. Gonna knock it hard right here before your eyes. And let's look at the chart from a dollar perspective. So Litecoin's gains are, it's going up in value just because everything else is. But if I were to compare this to Bitcoin on a percent scale, obviously we know that's going to win. I mean, look, let's do, well, I don't, we already know it's trash, but let's go ahead and look at what it looks like for trading. Litecoin's been locked in a range going back to 2022. So while everything else is actually increasing in value. Well, yeah, but if you want, Koob, if you want to do transfer and swap, there's other coins that you could do that with that are faster and cheaper than Litecoin, right? So Litecoin's just at this point, I don't see the use for it. It's, it doesn't gain value. So Bitcoin's better from that perspective. And there are other cryptos that are faster and cheaper. So at this point, it doesn't, it's outmoded in every way. There's faster and cheaper, and it doesn't gain in value. But if you want to look at it for trading, it's basically locked in a range going back to 2022. That's not much going on there, right? And this should tell you like everything else in the market is killing it. Litecoin, what has it doubled maybe since the lows? Even Bitcoin's gone up several times. It was at 15,000 last year, if I'm not mistaken. Now it's up to 70,000, so it's gone up. What's that, 5 times? So, Bitcoin's gone up 4 or 5 times. Ethereum has done, decently compared, right? I don't think it's gone up as much as Bitcoin has, but it still has paced pretty decently with Bitcoin, especially for the last several months. Litecoin, not so much. If you're trying to trade Litecoin, maybe it's like easier to trade. I can tell you at the very moment on the daily chart, I'm just looking at this crazy screen right here. On the weekly chart, it definitely has some algo love, like it does want to go up. But with Litecoin, I don't think there's a lot of volume behind it, right? So looking at this high time frame, that I drew here, this high time frame range might even be healthier to have a little bit lower here. It's approaching the top of whatever that long-term range is. And I could refine this. Let's go to some more local kind of look here. Look, Bitcoin goes up, Litecoin might go ahead and break the top here, but I would be wary, right? I might, if I could find a lower time frame trade, look for price to go up to 104, maybe $105, top of the range, right? So it's at 96. So you're looking at a 5%-ish move up. But by that same token, we have to be wary because price could easily bounce off that and head down, right? Because even in this hyper bullish time that we've seen, where everything has been going up by 4 or 5, and some other cryptos are going up 10, 20 times, right? Litecoin hasn't done that. It hasn't even really doubled, right? So it's just, I would expect Litecoin in dollar terms to continue to range in this area. So yeah, I don't, as much as I'd like to short it, that would be my instinct, is to short it at about $105. And that might be the right thing to do, because it just, even in this bullish 2023, it can barely make it above that. But, that would be the smart thing to do. But of course, if the market gets hyper bullish, then Litecoin, like everything else, probably would spike up. So I would be careful shorting in that hyper bullish post halving time. What I would prefer to do with Litecoin would be if it made its way down to one of these kind of supports here. So you have you've got this lower area here, just some, wherever price has made some changes, some flips, even this local kind of area right here. So all these little levels I'm marking out are areas where I would look to go long if price made its way down, right? So perhaps a pullback to here, to this 91 and then up. That's very possible because you have this structure right there. Okay. So yeah, just, these are possible lower time frame moves. Of course, I would have the algos managing that. For the moment, it's bullish, so I would not be shorting it, though. I would look for a pullback to go long. And any of these levels where you see structure, that's, quite possibly where you, and a real suspect level is going to be $87 ish, right? There's a lot of older structure, and there's even this new structure. Price pivots a lot around 87.40. So that's where I look to actually go long. If that would be kind of the ideal short-term area to pop up long on Litecoin. Could make some money there. So, hey man, I'll knock Litecoin, but if you can make money trading it, I got nothing bad to say about it. I'll trade whatever shitcoin if I can make some good money on it, So I'm not knocking that. Not knocking profits at all. I don't care where you profit, as long as you're not doing something like really bad. So anyway, we are now at the end of this public live lab. So please come on over to Algo Factory. We help people build their own trading method, right? So all these tools that I use on the screen, of course, we show you what all that is. We spend, after this show, we spend another hour in the private live lab. We have people ask us about charts, methodology. I think Monday, 2 days ago, was an exciting show. I'd say go over to YouTube and check that out, because there was a great show where one of our clients, he had developed a pretty decent algo. And he was going to do a show with us like a week before. And so we got on together just before that to make sure his sound was right and to make sure his algo was at like a decent point. And it turned out he needed a little bit of help. So he went back to the drawing board and we put off the show, and he came back having discovered an entire new and very effective algo. So we refined that on the show. I spent a whole show refining it, and we even discovered a new algo. And that was our show on Monday, this live show. So go check that out for sure, because that gives you a bit of insight into what we do, how we help our clients. And we have a lot coming up. Pay attention. We got indicators coming out. They're going to be available on our website, and they'll be at a steep discount for Algo Factory members as well. So for the moment, the QR code top right hand side of the screen, you can zap that. It'll take you over to algofactory.tech, or just come to algofactory.tech. And don't forget, because you have one choice
or die,
and one choice only. Join us or die. Just kidding. That's a joke. All right. Thank you all for coming. We will catch you tomorrow. Peace.